Welcome friends. Today let's discuss the editorial of Indian Express newspaper. Now before we begin with the editorial, this is the first page in which Rishi Sunak is meeting the King of Great Britain, King Charles the Third. Now this is a big development in Great Britain. Some people are saying that just as Barack Obama became the president of United States, similar is the moment for Great Britain. But I think that comparison is not valid. Yes, it is a great achievement that a person of color has become Prime Minister of Great Britain. Difference is that Barack Obama led his party to victory. He was the person for whom the entire country voted. Whereas Rishi Sunak became the prime minister only after two prime ministers resigned. So that is what the difference is. But yes, overall, it is something positive. It does indicate that at least in his party, talent is given preference. We'll discuss about him in the editorial. So let's scroll down. Now this is the editorial, 26th October. And as usual, let's begin with the quotation of the day. Persistence can change failure into extraordinary achievement. Now, when you make notes, make sure that you also note these quotations. Sometimes in answer writing, these quotations can come in very handy. They can be very useful. Okay. And one more thing I want to point out is that when you read the editorial or any article, there's a small summary of it given at the beginning. Most of the time, this summary, or let's say this summary, explains much of the article in very brief 1 or 2 sentences or 1 or 2 lines. And the first editorial is about Rishi Sunak. And this quotation, if you try to relate this, trying to describe Rishi Sunak's rise. So insofar as Rishi Sunak is concerned, he is somebody who was educated in Oxford, Stanford, and he has got good schooling, from elite schools in UK. His wife is the daughter of Narayan Murthy, the chairman of Infosys. So in terms of wealth, he has plenty, and some estimates suggest that his wealth is even more than the wealth of King Charles III. And as the editorial points out, a person of color becoming the leader of the United Kingdom is historic, even if his is no underdog tale. So this article is just about that. This article, he draws comparisons with Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and the title of this article is, Accidental Prime Minister. Now, first of all, becoming the Prime Minister is never by accident. Accidents can happen on issues that are very trivial, but becoming the Prime Minister is never accidental. But yes, you can say that Rishi Sunak is not, or his status is not equivalent to rise of Barack Obama in United States. But what happens later on still has to be seen. Whether the general public of Great Britain accepts Rishi Sunak even in future or not still has to be found out. So in this article, basically the writer compares Sunak's journey. He also talks about Liz Truss, Boris Johnson, and he talks about the issue of race and how to prove that you are British when your skin color is not white. It's difficult for anybody because race is something which is always a very sensitive issue. But considering that Great Britain, just like United States, is an educated country. Let's say many people are educated and the level of literacy in these countries is very high. So we can only hope that people of UK accept the leadership of Rishi Sunak even in future. Of course, till the time general elections are held in 2024, he is safe. If he can manage his party, he is safe. And one more important thing to note is that he's not really an accidental prime minister, Rishi Sunak, because in terms of education, he's pretty educated and he is also a former investment banker. He has worked in Goldman Sachs in United States. So in terms of talent and education, he is one of the best. And earlier in the cabinet of Boris Johnson, he played a good role as finance minister, especially during COVID. After that, the next article is on Pakistan getting out from the FATF. Now, from an exam point of view, क्या MCQ बन सकता है इससे? They can ask you about FATF. Now, what is the FATF? Financial Action Task Force. Basically, what the job of FATF is, ये क्या करता है? It prevents terrorist financing, money laundering. मेन दो इनके इंपॉर्टेंट काम है. फ्रॉम एन एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या ये लोग पूछ सकते हैं आपसे? MCQs बन सकते हैं दैट हु आर द मेंबर्स ऑफ FATF. नाउ इंपॉर्टेंट मेंबर्स के नाम आप जान लेना. And at present, there are total 39 members. And as I said that recently Pakistan has been removed from the grey list of FATF. Because as the article indicates that Pakistan ने कुछ steps लिए हैं and somehow it has been able to convince countries like United States and of course all-weather ally China its previous actions merit removal from grey list. And if you go on the website of FATF, दो तीन चीजें आपको जाननी चाहिए that what does the FATF do? तो यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है that it basically acts to combat money laundering, terrorist financing and other related threats to the integrity of the international financial system. उसके बाद एक और चीज आपको जाननी चाहिए, who are the members? 39 members हैं. India is a member, China is a member. पाकिस्तान का नाम यहाँ कहीं नहीं है, मतलब member में. Grey list में तो पहले नाम था ही. If you see these countries jurisdictions under increased monitoring. If you see these countries jurisdictions under increased monitoring, of course these countries Nicaragua and Pakistan are no longer under the grey list, and these two countries Nicaragua and Pakistan now are no longer subject to increased monitoring by the FATF. And from an exam point of view क्या पूछ सकते हैं आपसे कि what are the disadvantages of being on the grey list? And one such disadvantages is that that country will not easily get loans from multilateral agencies. जो पाकिस्तान के साथ हुआ कुछ दिन पहले, that is one of the biggest disadvantages. Last article is about Virat Kohli, how he has led India to victory. So there's nothing there to analyze. Of course, this is test of spirit, and Virat Kohli has successfully displayed that. Now let's talk about this last article. Don't speak of language. Basically, ये इसमें क्या mention है that recently Home Minister Amit Shah has unveiled Hindi editions of MBBS books. Now, as the author rightly points out that इट इज ईजियर सेड देन डन. इतना आसान नहीं है कि हर चीज को आप हिंदी में कन्वर्ट कर दो. ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन साइट एग्जांपल्स लाइक चाइना, रशिया, जापान. देयर एवरीथिंग इज टॉट इन देयर ओन नेशनल लैंग्वेज और मदर टंग. बट इंडिया में इतना आसान नहीं है, इसलिए बिकॉज देयर इज ग्रेट अमाउंट ऑफ लिंग्विस्टिक डाइवर्सिटी. रातों रात इस तरीके से स्विच करना आसान नहीं होता. ऑफ कोर्स even the government doesn't want to lose quality, because after all education is not a joke. हालांकि ये point of view सही है that different professional courses are in mother tongue. It is always good for the country. But चेंज अगर करना भी है then everybody should be taken along and it should be done in a gradual way. जो भी लोग पढ़ रहे हैं या present generation of people are there, they do not get affected adversely, and even the quality of education is not affected adversely, because one thing is pretty sure that no matter how much we criticize English कि हाँ English बेकार है, चलो colonial language है, that is true. Can we deny the usefulness of English? Can we deny the fact that most of the international publications, चाहे वो medicine के field में हो या किसी भी research के field में हो, most of them are in English? Can we deny the fact that most of the developments that take place are in United States and in Western Europe, and all of those are reported in English? So we must have a mechanism to translate that, and ideally we should be ahead in research, but that will happen gradually. एकदम से change करने से होगा ये कि it will just give cannon fodder those people who are just looking for one or more issue to polarize people. Language के नाम पे polarize करने के लिए बहुत सारे politicians तैयार रहते हैं हमेशा. So it will just provide them some fodder. उसमें ना पढ़ के government को along with academics, they should chalk out a short-term or long-term plan. That transition should be done without compromising anybody's future, anybody's career, and quality of education.